Hey kids, welcome back to another week of Oldman Plays CFL Weekly Fantasy. Ha ha, yeah. Yeah, the jocularity's a little forced this week. I don't know what's going on. I'm in free fall. Haven't seen an update from the league since like week 9, but I believe I'm at 5 and 7, which isn't good. I'm like 10th in scoring. I can't get a handle on the CFL, who's going to be hot any given week. I feel like I'm chasing stuff rather than predicting. So please take anything I say here with a large grain of salt. Anyway, we got to play. Got to play out the season, and don't give in to despair. There's still time to get back. I got to get up to the top 8 in the league to get in the playoffs, and then anything can happen. So, how are we going to put the team together this week? Well, quarterbacks, I really think there's only 2 choices, and maybe 2 if you want to take a bit of a flyer on it. And then the other 4 are no's for me. So, who are the no's for me? Well, not Zach. Not against that Montreal defense, and not the way he's been performing. Not Love in Calgary I think it's his first start ever. And I don't know if they're going to win. They're going to lean on the running game an awful lot. So definitely not there. Not Mayer, who I'm assuming will start in Ottawa. And let's see. Who was the 4th not one? Oh, not Trevor. Because as good as he is, until he gets some chemistry with his new receiving core, I don't want to take the chance. So I wouldn't go there. The 2 that are maybes for me is Kelly. He did put up some big numbers against Saskatchewan earlier in the season, and Saskatchewan has juggled their defense. Put Lacombo back to safety, but brought in a new corner, brought in a new strong side linebacker, so maybe. But I just feel like defenses are sorting out what they're trying to do with that long ball and taking it away from Toronto. So I'm less keen there. I'm also a maybe is Ford, because he is getting the start. You expect the defense for Hamilton will keep Calgary limited time on the field with Love in there, so you will have a lot of chances. As long as he doesn't make mistakes and doesn't get pulled, he's a shot. But the 2 that I would really look at this week are Nathan, because he's heating up and he's playing that Ottawa defense, and Alexander, because he's Alexander. And he's playing that Winnipeg defense. So we'll see. Okay, so running backs. Well, let's see. Let's go east to west on this one. Start out with Tice in Montreal. Good choice, probably, if he runs the ball. I have no doubt they can, but with Moss, last week he ran all over Ottawa. This week he could come out and throw 50 times against Winnipeg, or could go heavy on the run. You just don't know. So Tice is not quite 15K. He's a good choice. Going to Toronto, they had a good running game last week against Hamilton, but up against Saskatchewan, the first time they met, Hicks broke off one long one for about 40 yards, and then they shut down everything. So I'm not confident in picking anybody from Toronto. Same thing with Hamilton. I don't know. They may go with Roundtree, and he might run, but they haven't. Even with Ford in there, they've been passing. So there's that. And, I guess I missed Ottawa. It says heading to west. But Ottawa, yeah. Nah, they got no run game going at all. Winnipeg, Oliveira, sure, he could be a big factor, except I don't think that he'll get any touches, or very few. I expect Montreal will go up quick, and Condell will forget that Brady exists as he's chasing points. Conley in Saskatchewan, maybe up against Toronto defense that is somewhat susceptible to the run, and he has looked good, so I'd consider him. Mills in Calgary, a rookie quarterback in there, and they like to run the ball. Will Dickinson have the cojones to stay with the run? I think so, because it's not like Hamilton should be scoring a lot of points. So I think Mills is a real good choice. And then when you get to BC, is it Butler or Horvath? I think Horvath will get the majority of the touches. He gets that short yardage stuff. He is up to 10.2K, so he's a bit expensive, but I think he's a good choice. So looking at that. Monotone, blah, 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 blah. Let's try to make it a little more exciting, old man. Let's say throw some enthusiasm in here that we're trying to build. Wide receivers. Well, let's take a look at that. BC, maybe Katoy. He's not a bad price, and he's been heating up a lot lately. The others, definitely you'll get some points, but Nathan's been throwing to everybody, so it's hard to pick there. Calgary, I'm staying away from Calgary receivers because rookie quarterback, and I don't have a lot of faith. Winnipeg receivers, well, same thing. First of all, they don't have an impressive receiving core anymore, and can Zach get the ball to them against the Montreal defense? I don't think so. So staying away from Winnipeg receivers. Again, Hamilton, well, Ford's been doing better, but it's hard to tell who exactly he's going to throw to. He's been going, Myron Mitchell maybe, has been getting balls from Ford, and so you might want to think of him as a mid-price receiver. Toronto, again, maybe Coxey, but Herslow certainly hasn't taken off. Maybe Ungerer is a better one there because he's cheaper and gets consistent targets. So you might want to think about going that way. Ottawa, well, Eberhardt came over from BC, and he has performed pretty consistently. Will he be motivated? Will they get the ball to him? Depending on who's at quarterback. I don't know, but he just might be worthwhile. And then the last two that I haven't mentioned, Montreal, because, of course, Philpott. You could go with Sneed. You could go with Speaker, who's a lower-priced one, too. But I think if you're going to go with Montreal and spend big money, Philpott's got to be the guy that goes there. And then, strangely enough, Saskatchewan, even with their depleted receiving core, there's some possibilities there. Johnson has been fairly consistent. He's had some drops lately, but the game gets going. He's dependable. He's been covered because they've had nobody else to throw to for a few weeks here. And again, they lost Emilus this week, so it's a bunch of new people in there. I don't know how well Harris will get the ball to them, but they have put Shamar Bridges in at the boundary receiver. He's cheap, and I think that's a chance you got to take. He's going to take targets there. Plus, being over there on that side with Johnson may open up a little bit more for Johnson, and the targets there may work, and I could see that. I could see them using Bridges more as a decoy, but I expect he'll have to get some targets just to get them respecting that. They have put Dejon Mims and Daniel Weeb in, and they're both low-priced ones that may get some good looks. I'm thinking Mims is the better choice there just from where they're lining him up. But that's about it. Anyway, and blah, blah, blah. Keep going, old man. Defenses. BC is against Ottawa, so there should be some picks that are there. Montreal against Zach. Yeah, they may put up some scoring. And Toronto against Harris and the timing issues he's having may be there. I would avoid Saskatchewan. With the juggling they've done, I don't have enough faith to pick them. And, of course, avoid Ottawa because they haven't been good and they're up against BC. And I'd avoid Winnipeg against the Alouettes. Surprise. I do think the value pick of the week is Hamilton. They're I think they're the second cheapest defense. They have been turning the ball over, taking it off other teams, and they're playing against an inexperienced quarterback. Calgary will probably go heavy with Mills, and Hamilton did give up run yardage last week. But different situation. You're not playing against Chad Kelly, you're playing against Love. So I think they, for the price, might be the best way to go. And in fact, I did choose them. We've got the Hamilton Tiger Cats defense. Quarterback is Alexander out of Montreal. He's also my captain. Running backs are Mills from Calgary and Horvath from BC. My wide receivers are Tyson Philpott out of Montreal and Shamari Bridges out of Saskatchewan. And my flex is Jarius Jackson out of BC. Why those things? Well, like I said, Hamilton's a value pick on defense, and they're going against an inexperienced quarterback. Could give up a lot of run yards, but I think they'll be okay. Why Alexander over Nathan? Well, he's proven more consistent, and he's not having to travel halfway across the country. And he's not playing a substantially better team than Nathan is. Running backs, Mills, because Calgary's got to try and run the ball, I figure, with a inexperienced quarterback in there, and they have been able to do that when they needed to in the past. Horvath out of BC, because he's getting the bulk of the touches. Ottawa's given up a lot to the run, especially to big bruising backs like him. And he's the short yardage quarterback, so get some points there. Philpott, again, how can you not, the way he's performing? Bridges, because he's got that boundary corner starting spot in Saskatchewan. Yes, only a week to get chemistry with Harris, but I think that will still bring in some good stuff. And again, he's cheap. He's 6.4K. And Jackson, I didn't even mention him when I was talking about receivers, and had basically about 8K left, and who was the best one I could find on the board, and I think that was him. So that was sort of just going with it. I'm left with 0.6K to, well, whatever you do with it, I guess it just goes away. I'm left with 0.6K to burn. All right, that's it. As always, them's my picks. If you're thinking about following any of this, do so with a lot of caution at your own peril. I really hope this is my week starting to come back, but who knows. Thank you. Hope we get a better weekend of football than the last couple, but I'm not completely optimistic on that either. Sorry, grumpy old man today, aren't I? All right, that's enough. Old man, signing off.